Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. Got kind of a heavy subject tonight. In Ohio, there's an 11-year-old girl. She was allegedly raped by a 26-year-old. She's pregnant. So she's going to be a mom. I can say that with certainty because the governor and the legislature of the state of Ohio took that choice away from her. They removed that option, took it right off the table. Now, I don't want to talk about her specifically because we don't know. She may want to carry this child. She may be from a family of means, and everything's going to work out. It's going to be fine. It's possible. But there will be the next 11-year-old. Because that's the society we live in part because the legislatures of this country are more interested in regulating stuff like this than they are making sure that, rape kits get tested. So at 11 years old, that next 11-year-old, well, her brain is still developing. She's beginning to understand that the world isn't black and white and that there are shades of gray to it. But she may not fully understand the consequences of her actions. She's got a good grasp on right and wrong, but the emotional turmoil that she's going through disrupts the execution of that sometimes. She's beginning to understand that her behavior impacts others, beginning to understand that. She wants to spend more time with her friends, less time with her family. She's self-conscious about her appearance, her body. It's about the time that eating disorders, substance abuse, self-harm, those things start to show up. She finds it hard to resist peer pressure. This period has been described as a roller coaster of distress and happiness. She needs 9 to 11 hours of sleep a night. Not the ideal candidate for motherhood. Not the ideal candidate to be dealing with an infant. Man, that's a lot. It's a lot when you really think about it. Now, there is some good news for her, though. Some good news for that next 11-year-old. At least if she's in Ohio, because this isn't true of all states. As long as this guy's convicted of rape or sexual battery and she goes through court, well, he won't get parental rights. But if he's not convicted or the charge gets knocked back or she's in another state, well, he might. And she'll deal with him the rest of her life. This is the result of poorly written laws with bad intent that are really set out to play to a base rather than accomplish anything, because you're not going to legislate abortion out of existence. It's not going to happen. I mean, you're going to succeed in making it unsafe, creating a black market, and it's going to disproportionately affect those that are disadvantaged economically, because those with means, well, they'll just leave the state. They'll just go on vacation. Yeah. So it will be mainly the poor kids that are having kids. Makes sense. That's definitely a way to build a great society. I know somebody out there right now is going, there's another life at stake. They wrote this law in Ohio to basically stop anything before or after 6 weeks. 6 weeks. The embryo's less than an inch long. It's not the same. And to prove it's not the same, I will use the same example I have used before. If I have a jar with 100 of those embryos in it, and I've got a toddler named Billy in this hand, I'm hanging them both off a cliff. You get to pick which one I drop. The only question I have is, what kind of ice cream are you going to buy Billy? Because everybody's going to tell me to drop that jar. It's not the same. It is not the same. And in this case, there is another kid at stake, 11 years old. An 11-year-old who is beginning, unlike a lot of the country, to understand that the world is not black and white. There's a whole bunch of shades of gray out there. And when you cast it as black and white, this is what happens. Anyway, it seems like a whole lot to put on an 11-year-old, to me. It's just a thought. Y'all have a good night.